What is up, bros and broettes? I'm Slasher, and today I'm going to be showing you some Black Ops 4 gameplay with every single weapon from the reveal event. So, of course, this is not going to be every weapon that's in the final game. Basically, we were able to use 3 assault rifles, 3 SMGs, 2 tactical rifles, which are a new type of weapon that we're going to talk about, 1 LMG, 2 sniper rifles, and then your secondary weapons, we had pistols, shotguns, and a rocket launcher. The rocket launcher is the only weapon I don't have gameplay with it, but I do have some gameplay of me getting killed with it, so we kind of have some gameplay of it. So in this video we are looking at every single one of those weapons and talking about some new additions to the weapons in the game, which we'll talk about closer to the end of the video. So the first set of weapons we're looking at here are the assault rifles. They're the weapons that do well at medium to long range, all of which in this game so far are fully automatic. So the first one we got here is the ICR-7, similar to the ICR from Black Ops 3 or an ACR from previous Call of Duty games. Very low recoil, really easy to control and aim, with a mediocre fire rate. I thought this one was decent, definitely not the best AR. In fact, out of the 3 we could use, I thought it was the worst, but still a decent weapon all in all because of that low recoil. The second AR was the Rampart 17. Now this one was a higher damage, slower rate of fire weapon, almost like a Scar from a previous Call of Duty game. A lot of people really like this weapon. I saw a lot of people using it. Definitely one of the better weapons in the game. And the final one was my favorite. It was the VAPR or Vapor-XKG. Now this one, the reason why I liked it is it has a super high rate of fire and it didn't have too much recoil. Found it really good to use at that short to medium range, almost like an SMG. But remember, you could kill people at long range because it was an assault rifle. So that was my personal favorite, but they were all felt kind of similar. So I can't wait to see some actual weapon stats on these and see what's better. Next up we have the SMGs, and the first of which is called the MXG. This one I would probably most likely compare to the VMP of Black Ops 3. Really fast fire rate, a little bit of recoil, kind of hard to control, but really, really good. Heard a lot of people say that they thought this was the best weapon in the entire game. The second one is called the Cordite, and this one is similar to the MXG. I really enjoyed using this one, and I found it really easy to use, kind of like the Kuda from Black Ops 3. It didn't have a ton of recoil, it didn't have the fastest fire rate in the world, but was just a well-rounded SMG. And then the SAVG 9mm. This one I would definitely most likely compare to an MP7. It kind of reloads the same way. It has a really fast fire rate like an MP7. That's kind of what I would compare it to. But that is the SMGs. So the next class of weapons we have here is called tactical rifles, and basically what these are assault rifles that are not fully automatic. So for example, a semi-automatic weapon or a burst action assault rifle. At least that's all we could see as of right now. Now, as far as I'm concerned, I used both of these weapons and they were both very, very weak. I definitely think the tactical rifle class as a whole needs a little bit of a buff. But the first one we're looking at here is called the Swordfish, and this one is a burst action assault rifle, and pretty much every time I use this weapon it would be a 3 burst kill, not a 3 round burst, a 3 burst kill. So you needed to get a lot of bullets on target. It didn't have the fastest burst delay, so all in all it just really wasn't a good weapon. The second one was a little bit better. It was called the Auger DRM, and basically this one was a semi-automatic rifle similar to something like the FAL from previous Call of Duty games. It was a 3 to 4 bullet kill, but it had a really slow rate of fire. I think if you just buffed the fire rate up just a little bit and a little bit less recoil, it would actually be a really good weapon. So that's an easy fix. The Swordfish, on the other hand, really needs some work with that one. The next weapon was the Titan LMG, and this one I was actually very pleasantly surprised with. This one really reminded me of the BRM from back in Black Ops 3, and basically the thing I liked about it is it had a 60 round magazine. It didn't make you feel really heavy, it didn't make you feel like you were moving too slow, and on top of that it killed people rather quickly. All in all, I was just really impressed with it. So unfortunately we were only able to use one LMG, but what I saw in it was something pretty damn good. So the one thing I mentioned in the video that I put out earlier today, which was my reaction just to the game in general, was that the time to kill in Black Ops 4 is a lot slower than really anything we've seen before, at least anything since Black Ops 1. And someone commented, Thomas S. commented here, asking whether the time to kill being slow and having snipers still be one-shot kills makes snipers really overpowered. And it kind of does. Basically, snipers in this game are like Black Ops 3. There's no aim assist on them, but they are a one-hit kill. In fact, I didn't see anyone get a hit marker with snipers whatsoever. So they're a little bit overpowered, but they're way more difficult to use than snipers in a game like Call of Duty World War II or other Call of Duty games. So they're kind of balanced, they're a little bit trickier to use, but they're still really good. So the two sniper rifles we have here is, first of all, the Paladin HB50, which is like your stereotypical 50 cal sniper rifle that we've seen in previous Call of Duty games. I use this one a little bit in two different gameplays, and then you have the Koshka. Now, I actually didn't use the Koshka, so the game player here is actually watching Sprat's gameplay, so it's much better sniping gameplay than my own. And watching his gameplay, you can kind of see this one has a smaller hitbox than the Paladin HB50, so less damage but a faster fire rate, whereas the Paladin is more of a larger hitbox, more damage, slower fire rate, and it also seems like a slower aim down sights time as well. So another new part about Black Ops 4 is that once again, shotguns are no longer primary weapons, they are secondary weapons. This is actually similar to Modern Warfare 2. I believe that's the only other Call of Duty game that did this, unless you were using Overkill as a perk. But the first secondary weapon we have is the Strife pistol. Now, I personally didn't kill anyone using this weapon, but I did pick it up, fired it around a little bit, and when I did see people get kills with it, it was about a 4 to a 6 bullet kill, which is similar to other pistols and other Call of Duty games. It actually seemed pretty decent compared to the other weapons in the game. Now, the second secondary weapon is the MOG 12. Now, this is a shotgun, reminds me very similarly to the SPAS 12 or SPAS in other Call of Duty games. The big difference is I didn't see anyone get a one-shot kill with the shotgun. I'm sure it's possible, I'm sure people can do it, but you just have to be very close. Most of the time, I was getting a 2 or even a 3-shot kill with this weapon. And then finally, we have the rocket launcher. Now, personally, I didn't get any kills with the rocket launcher. It's called the Hellion Sablo, but I do know that you can kill people pretty easily with this thing. I got killed with it, saw a couple other people get killed with it, so it is good, much better than rocket launchers are in Call of Duty World War II. So overall, what are my thoughts on the weapons in Black Ops 4? Well, I have a couple. First of all, if I was to compare them to any other Call of Duty game, it would be Black Ops 2, and I don't really know why. I think they just kind of have a meaty feeling to them, and that's kind of the way I feel about a lot of weapons in Black Ops 2. So comparably, that's kind of the game I would compare them to most. But the time to kill on the weapons is more like Black Ops 1. It's a little bit longer. Basically, take the time to kill from Black Ops 2 and add one more bullet. That's the best way of looking at it, in my opinion. Now, as far as what weapons are good, what weapons are bad, I found SMGs to be hands down the best out of any of the weapons. As far as what are the worst, hands down the tactical rifles. Those things are absolutely garbage. They need a buff. And all in all, I think one of the things that needs to be worked on the most between now, the beta, and when the game is actually released is the weapon balancing as a whole. I find SMGs really good, assault rifles are okay, LMGs are okay, but then everything in between needs to be fixed. I think SMGs need to be brought down just a little bit, tactical rifles up just a little bit. So once that's all balanced out, I think they're going to have amazing weapon play in the game, and I honestly think the longer time to kill is beneficial for Call of Duty as a whole. So the one other thing I have to mention about weapons in Black Ops 4 is the one thing that they changed drastically in Black Ops 4 is weapon attachments. Basically, classes of weapons no longer have the same attachments. For example, the ICR may have a grip, but the Rampart doesn't, or the Vapor assault rifle, all of these are assault rifles, doesn't have a grip, or the Rampart has high caliber as an attachment, but the ICR doesn't. This is actually a really good way of balancing weapons, because then a certain weapon can't get overpowered with a certain attachment. Also, there are new attachments as well in Black Ops 4 that have never been in other Call of Duty games, but we're going to talk about that in a future video, so be sure to stay tuned for that. So as far as what I think they should add to the game is, first of all, a couple of familiar weapons. What I mean by that is we only really have 2 familiar weapons that we can recognize from previous CODs. The ICR and the MOG 12, which is basically a SPAS 12. Other than that, there's a lot of weapons with names I have never heard of. Other than that, though, I think there should be some slower firing weapons. There's no real weapon in the game as of right now, like the Man of War from Black Ops 3 or the Gorgon from Black Ops 3. So some slower firing, automatic weapons I think would be a good addition, and definitely some good burst action weapons would be nice to see as well, because the swordfish, the one that's in there right now, really isn't good if you ask me. But guys, that is every weapon in Call of Duty Black Ops 4. If you enjoyed the video, it would be awesome if you could hit that like button. It was really hard to get gameplay with every single weapon, having to switch pretty much every time I died. So it would be really nice if you could hit that like button. It really would help out the channel and help out the video. Also, if you like what you see, I'm going to have plenty more Black Ops 4 videos coming. So be sure to hit that subscribe if you want to stay up to date on those. And if you want to be notified when my videos come out, hit that little bell icon. It'll keep you notified. But guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, peace out.